Hello everyone, my name is Miraj. I'm making these videos to share my experiences in a way teach, but not really teach, but just explain so that I teach and therefore learn better for my own personal brand and documentation. That's just my forward or whatever. Just to get straight into it, I just want to talk about today on how to get girls. This is a topic I feel like every boy thinks about. I used to think about it all the time. Um, and more recently, I feel like I've been able to configure and break down exactly what is needed in order to make this happen, because it's a lot simpler than it is. A lot of things in life that you want to succeed in or achieve is a lot simpler when it's broken down into systems and much more habits or behaviors that you can adapt or adopt to, and therefore get the success and goals that you want. And so I like breaking things down into typically three things. Of course, you need to do all of these things. You can work on it over. It's gonna take time, but you still need to do the core thing of talking to women and actually trying to get them, because that's the only way for you to learn and test if the things that you're doing are working. But just to get into the first one, right? Actually, I'll say the first. To get girls, that's the main bubble. Think of that way. The three subtitles or whatever subheadings would be your appearance, your personality / mindset, and your interpersonal, relational, and masculine energy, vibe, whatever you want to really call it, skills. The first one is the most simplest. It's your appearance, right? You know, people always say, "Oh, your looks don't matter," this and that. It's like you can pull women without your appearance being top notch or whatever, but it's just gonna make the game that much harder. It's when you can maximize your looks maxing. It allows you for you to get into the door. It allows you to pick up their interest, and the other two are more for keeping them engaged. So first you gotta get their interest, and you gotta keep them engaged, right? And so if you're just really good looking but you don't have the other two, you'll just simply only have their interest, but they'll never engage with you. You'll never be able to like build a relationship with them or whatever that you want, right? But if you have the other two, you can engage with them, but you'll never get their interest off rip, right? So you have to work that much harder. You just need to make the other two that much better. But it's like making yourself attractive is really not as hard as people make it out to be. It just takes time, right? And so the core things are the way you look. So just don't be fat, don't be skinny, go to the gym, build a proper physique, right? Not only for yourself. If you're a man, you should want to build a proper strong physique, look like the Greeks or whatever you want, like look like a statue. It's like it makes very little sense to me, because how little downside there is to get yourself in shape. There's just so much upside and so much benefit. Just like, why wouldn't you do it, right? Simply because you're too lazy to go to the gym. It's like, get over yourself, right? Smell, take showers, make sure you scrub properly, moisturize, wear cologne, whatever. Find things that make your hair smell good, because if your hair smells good, you smell good. It's just hair sense. If your hair smells good, it makes such a strong aroma around you, right? That's just a little tip. The way you dress, right? Find things that actually properly fit you. Don't wear super loose clothing. Don't wear super tight clothing. Find things that fit. Make them color coordinate. So like, don't wear blue and purple. Like, you'll look weird, right? If you're gonna wear blue, maybe you wear white with it. If you're gonna wear black, well, you can wear black with it. Black and red look good together, right? That just comes with time, and just your overall hygiene, right? Make sure your lips look not crusty. Make sure your teeth are like white. Brush your teeth. Use whitening strips. Take care of your hair. Take care of your eyes. Take care of your facial hair. So like, I guess you can say hygiene and grooming, right? And literally, if that's all you do as a man, you'll literally be in the top 5%, top 1% in terms of how attractive you are. And that simply will get you in the door, tons and tons of them. Because once you make yourself attractive, you understand how easy it is to get attractive. And women also do notice this, because there's so little men who actually take care of themselves in the way I just described, that when you do it, you stand out like a diamond in a pile full of rocks, right? That's really the most simplest thing. You'll find if that was too complicated, I feel like I broke it down pretty simply. You can literally look into any one of those things I said and figure out how to look max in that sense, right? Next is your personality and mindset, right? This kind of differs from person to person. This is kind of what you just develop as you get older and older, right? Just developing hobbies and interests that actually benefit you, doing things that are interesting, you know, traveling, being good at like cooking or a sport, reading books, and just not being a pleb, just not being a loser. It's like, if your hobbies and interests is just you playing video games and you just going to the gym, you just going to work and just sleeping, it's like, would you even want to talk to you? Like, realistically, you gotta ask yourself that question sometimes. Like, if I'm expecting a girl to be interested in me, would I even be interested in me? It's like, that's like a really easy question to ask yourself. And it's like, if it's not, simply just change your life. Like, you are in control. If you think you have boring hobbies and a boring life and not an interesting life, start doing more shit. Start going out, try random things, see what you like, don't like, hike, go swimming, go to the beach. It doesn't matter. Just literally find anything to do and see what you like. And then over time, you start like developing other random things. Like, maybe you go hiking, you're like, damn, like my cardio's up. So you start going to the gym. You realize there's a basketball court, so you start playing basketball. Just go through life just not being a boring pleb. Don't just stay inside the whole day just playing video games, this and that, right? And in terms of your mindset, so that's like your personality. Like, nobody's gonna look for you to have the most awesome, perfect personality. It's just not ideal. Now, you can play it off that way just to get more interest from women, right? You don't gotta tell them, like, it's just like how Instagram is, where it's like most of these people's lives are very, very boring, but you're only seeing the highlights. When you first meet a girl, if you're trying to get her interested and engaged, you're not gonna talk about how, like, for the past week all you did was sleep. You can tell her about the one highlight that you had just to keep her interested and engaged, right? That's how you build a relationship. That's how you build interest in yourself, right? You're selling yourself, essentially. That's what you are when you're trying to get a woman. It's like, think about like a salesman. When a salesman goes in and he's trying to sell the car, he doesn't say, oh yeah, you're gonna have to get maintenance, this and then, and most of the time this car might not run, and this has this engine just like every other car. Like, don't be boring, right? You're gonna sell, this car has the latest Bluetooth, it has the best stereo systems, it has interior lighting. Like, you're gonna sell all the good stuff, sell the highlights, right? That's what sell the sizzle, not the steak, right? That's a whole sales thing, right? And in terms of mindset, this is where, low-key, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still struggling with this. I feel like a lot of men have a lot of limiting beliefs. I'm one of them in terms of when it comes to women, and it's something that you just have to, like, it takes time for you to work on and break down, and over time you can slowly break it down until you get over them. A lot of things in life that you want to succeed in is just, if you think of your mind as like a program, everything you grew up with, everything that people told you when you were younger, when your brain was more malleable, and everything that they told got stuck in there, it caused your brain to have a bad program. And until you see people who have more success than you, who have success in the things that you want to succeed in, or whatever endeavors they are, they will have a different mindset, a different program, and you have to adopt, or at least understand why they think in the way they think, and then see how it makes sense for you to apply it. Because, like, even me right now, I feel like I grew up around a lot of women. I did grow up around a lot of women, so a lot of my beliefs have come from women. And so, like, the saying, don't ask a fish on how to fish, right? You're gonna ask the fisherman. And they would tell me, like, oh, don't be egotistical, don't show off your ambition too much, don't bother women who are trying to do whatever, right? Like, they would always say these things that would make me feel as if I was annoying women, I was disturbing them, that my presence wasn't wanted. And as you grow up and you see that the guys who have the most success with women are the ones who are able to just go approach any woman they want, regardless of the woman wants it or not. It's like, how could you even know if the woman wants? You're not telepathic. So thinking that, oh, she doesn't want to be approached, or she doesn't want to be disturbed, she has headphones on, it's like, all of these are just limiting beliefs that you have in your head that you grew up with based on whoever affected your programming. They fucked you up a little bit. They fucked me up too. It is what it is. We gotta work through it, and in the long run, eventually we'll break it down and we'll be able to work through it. But it's like things like that. It's like when you approach women like being approached. It's like, if you're a creep and you smell bad, obviously no. But if you're like a normal human being, if you're good looking, if you actually want to do something for that girl, benefit, like, be a good presence in her life, approaching her, like sweeping her off her feet, like every woman wants it. No, women barely get approached in real life, so when they do get approached, they feel ecstatic about it, right? They're like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened, this and that. Like, they feel like a princess, right? But then we grow up not thinking this. You think like, oh, you're disturbing them, don't bother them, you're annoying them. It's like, again, this is all limiting beliefs that you have to slowly work through and understand, like, where did this stem from? Who put this thought in there? Or is those people's advice the ones I want to take? It's like, don't take advice from people who are not in position that you want to be in. You wouldn't ask a fat person on how to become fit, and you wouldn't ask a poor person on how to get rich, right? So if these people who are not in position that you want to be in, disregard any advice that they've ever given you, especially if it's affecting you in an endeavor that you're trying to achieve in, and other people people who are successful in that endeavor are telling you something else, completely opposite. That's so appearance, personality, mindset. And the last one is interpersonal, relational, and masculinity, right? These are the skills. So it's like communication skills, confidence, being able to make the girl comfortable, relatable, like having control over your anxiety, and again, just thinking like a man. Just like that whole idea when I just said, where I was like, if you feel like you want to approach this woman, approach her. It's the masculine thing to do. If you feel as though that you're bothering her, or you're a nuisance, or you're annoying, it's almost like a feminine energy, feminine behavior. It's like the same energy as like when you're like sitting and you're like you put your legs together and you're crushing your own balls. It's like, why would you do that? You're a man. Take up your space. Be masculine. Do exactly what you want to do. It's like, as a man, you have to take control of yourself. You gotta always be taking action, right? And so when you're in a predicament where you have a choice to go approach this girl or not approach, it's like you have to approach. That's it. Like, if you approach, that's the masculine thing to do. If you don't approach, it's the feminine thing to do. And again, this is much easier said than done, but it's like, that's just how it is. Women aren't meant to approach, and that's why you won't see women typically approach. And the very few that do come off as quite masculine if you've had the experience, and you know what I'm talking about if you had. But again, it's always been that way, and it's going to stay that way. Women can't handle rejection the same way men can handle rejection, and therefore you need to be able to put yourself in positions to approach. And again, in that sense, regret is worse than rejection. So every time you see a woman, even if you have no chance with her, go talk to her. Get rejected, because it will be better than wondering the whole day, the whole night, why didn't I go talk to her? And it's like you lose credit and trust within yourself. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. And again, easier said than done. It's going to take time for you to develop that skill, be able to approach, be able to talk. The more you read, the more you write, the better your communication gets. The more you practice, like even this for me is practice. In 2-3 years, I'm going to watch this back and be like, wow, I talked so fast. I talked with high pitch. I could have did this and this. But these are things that I'm practicing on and work on, as I said. But really, those are the 3 things. If you can practice those 3 things, and I broke them down, like it was how to get girls. 3 subheadings was appearance, personality, mindset, and interpersonal, relational, masculine skills, whatever. And I broke them down. If you can, I feel like I broke them to the most simplest terms where you can apply those changes to your life. You're like, okay, he said grooming, so I'm gonna work on my haircuts and my beard. He said make sure to buy clothes that fit and color coordinate. He said to work on my communication skills, so maybe I'll read a book and I'll write a little bit and I'll practice recording myself talking or whatever, right? It's like, that's what you gotta think about, all the things I said. And if you literally do everything I said, it will be impossible for you not to get girls. But of course, after you do all of these things, you have to actually go out and try to talk to these girls and then try to pull them or whatever, right? Because if you don't do that, then you'll never know if any of these things even worked. You'll be like, oh, this guy was wrong in the video. He just said all this bullshit. It's like, no, I'm telling you exactly how to get girls. You just gotta do these things and then go work on it. I'm telling you, in the end, we're all gonna win.